Sugata, es un honor tenerte aquí en este TEDx Río de la Plata. Creo que muchos seguramente lo conocemos por sus viejos experimentos. ¿Se acuerdan de A Hole in the Wall? ¿Sí? Eso que aparecía una computadora de pronto en una aldea. Pero yo le quiero preguntar por lo que está pasando ahora con Soul, con lo que pasó con el TED Prize, cómo se está implementando, cómo está avanzando y qué evaluación hacen de esto.
I think he wants to know what happened after that film. So let me tell you what happened. We built 7 schools in the cloud, 5 in India and 2 in England. What is a school in the cloud? Well, let me give you a small example. You know, people used to travel from one place to another in a horse-drawn carriage for thousands of years until the automobile was invented. When the automobile was invented, the horse and carriage went away, and the coachman, the man who used to drive the horse and carriage, he also went away. And the passengers became the drivers. In the school in the cloud, what we are trying to find out is it possible in our education systems, has the time come to make the passengers drive? So we launched these 7 schools. The most distant one had nothing, no electricity, no healthcare, no schools. The best ones in England had everything, and then we let the learners drive the car. What happened? You might think that I'm going to say something romantic, but I'm not. I got bitten by 1 million mosquitoes. And then the children began to change. In England, the students wrote me an email saying, "Why are they teaching?" In Korakati, the most distant of our schools in the cloud, the children said, "Why does the Skyped-in granny speak such simple English? Doesn't she know that we understand her?" In another Bengal village, Chandrakona, I noticed a distinct Birmingham accent. It was faster than anything that I had expected. I don't know if you're going to believe this. In Korakati, the village where the children know no English at all, on day number 3, one of the English teachers who Skype in said, "You know, those children are very sweet." They said, "When are you coming back?" I said, "In what language did they ask you?" And she said, "In English." 3 days. So I asked the children, how did you learn to speak in English so quickly? And they looked at me and said, "You know that woman who comes on the screen? She doesn't understand anything other than English." Now for the bad news. The 7 laboratories have 7 different kinds of problems. The biggest problem is not pedagogy, it's not teaching and learning, it's technology. So I struggle to keep those remote locations running. But I know that I'll find a way. I still have 1 more year to go. I know I'll find a way to keep them running. And I know for sure, and I tell you this for the first time in the world on a TED stage, the passengers are driving the car. Thank you. So one last little bit that I need to tell you. I used to get called to conferences. I still do. But for the last 1 year, I've been called by the education department of governments of different countries. They are listening. And I have only one suggestion to them, something that I want some government to try, perhaps the government here in Argentina. It's very simple. I want someone to allow the use of the internet during examinations. I know there are students here, and I know that the examination is the only day in their life when they don't have access to the internet. So I hope I'll be able to change that. And if the internet enters the examination, the entire system will have changed. It would then be an idea that was worth spreading.
Sugata, una pregunta que seguramente le hacen todo el tiempo. Con esto del aprendizaje autoadministrado, ¿qué pasa con los maestros? ¿Qué queda para los maestros?
You know, there is a misconception that teachers will not have a role. That's not true. That's not true at all. In a soul, children find the answers to questions, but who makes the question? Who listens to their answers? Who says, most importantly, that was well done? That is what the teacher has to do.
Con respecto a lo que decía Sugata de si se va a implementar acá, hay un plan de al menos una escuela en Barracas que va a empezar próximamente con el sistema Soul de autoadministración educativa de la escuela en la nube. Y una última pregunta, Sugata. Llegó ayer, ¿sí? Lo están llevando de un lado a otro, así que es un honor que haya pasado este ratito por acá. La última pregunta es, una de sus preocupaciones mayores es la escuela del futuro. Pensemos en un futuro a mediano plazo, en 50 años, ¿cómo se imagina, cómo desea que sea la escuela?
You know, it's hard for me to say what the school will look like, but something much deeper will happen, and it won't take 50 years to happen. Our definition of the word to know, what does it mean when you say, I know something? It could be something that you learned in school when you were 7 years old, or it could be something that Google told you 1 minute ago. Knowing doesn't mean anything. Should we feel sorry? No, I don't think so. Ideas, like objects, become obsolete. When I started, I thought I was saying schools will be obsolete. I am now forced to say that knowing will be obsolete. What will take its place? The collective consciousness of 7 billion people.